Morning, this is Del K. Brereton and the new economy of blackness. What is the new economy of blackness in 2023? That is definitely yet to be determined. What has taken place in 2022 that causes that conversation to be extremely important is that I would say for the last time in recent memory, Black people of all class structures have been reminded that you own nothing. And because you own nothing, regardless of class, wealth, or economic level, there's a power structure bigger than you that can both silence you and humble you. And at this point, essentially motivate itself to bankrupt you if possible. The true power structures and the true economy of, I kind of jumped the gun with it, but the true economy of blackness in the future is power. Without the economy of power, you don't have anything. Without the economy of power, you don't have anything. Without the economy of power, you don't have anything. What constitutes power? What does power look like? How does power manifest itself? First of all, let's eliminate some things that we thought power was. Power is not wealth anymore. No, it's not. Power is not wealth anymore. Because wealth in of itself cannot be power if it's wealth that is given to you by another wealthy person or wealthy entity, right? The massive demonstration of Elon Musk to control Twitter lets you know that power starts first in the power of communication. The reason that Twitter, Facebook, YouTube are powerful is because they are the platforms of communication. Any invading army, historically, early 20th century, right? When they invaded a nation, the first things they did is they went and they took over the radio stations. They took over the communication, because what you're being told is what you're going to believe. And what you're not being told is you have no ability to inform or arm yourself in ignorance. True power is the platform of influence. That's where power begins. Power begins at the platform of influence. It began that way in ancient Rome. It began that way at the councils of tribalism, at the gates of meeting. The power of influence is true power. I always say that the man with the gun is not the most powerful guy. It's the man that can communicate and can direct the man with the gun. He's the guy with the most influence. I remember watching, and most power. I remember watching the Game of Thrones, and Cersei had to demonstrate what true power was. And there was a gentleman that, was talking to her, and he was trying to tell her his power was in the power of his information. And she says, that's not what power is. Cut his head off. And the guard that was with her took one step and was about to cut this gentleman's head off. And she said, stop. She said, turn around, take 2 steps back. And she looked at him and she said, that's what power looks like. Power is the power. Power is influence. Influence can cause a nation to rise up without you having anything in your hand. And so the platforms of influence are the beginning of the power structure of the Black economy. That's the beginning of it. Next, you better have an army. Say it like that again. Gotta have an army. Ron Dalton's book, the information that he shared on his book, all these platforms were taking it down. YouTube banned both of his YouTube accounts, and so the information couldn't fly out there, couldn't get out there. He was still making money in obscurity, but information that is rare is still is more valuable. Rare information is more valuable. That's why the value of his book and the value of his movies, everything went up. But Kyrie said, after they scrutinized him for sharing the banned book, he said, "I have an army." That's what he said. And people are looking at him crazy. What army do you have, Kyrie? What army do you have? And again, people forgot true power is influence, but influence responded to is an army. That's right. It's an army, and this is the thing. It's a conversation that I'm still wanting to address with Rabbi Casper's Fumé. That he does have influence, but does he have the influence to be dangerous? That's what armies are. Armies are the capacity to be dangerous. That's the second level of the black power structure in the black economy, and it is the most avoided thing by black leaders. They're afraid of their capacity to be an army. They're afraid of their capacity to be powerful. They're afraid of it. And the funny part is, those that are against you are also afraid of your capacity to have an army. This is why. And something that I am living every day on this platform, this channel that we share together. Because some have come and some have gone, but I share this platform, and I share this concept. If you are a real leader, you will always understand and recognize that there's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be conversations and conflicts within the cause. You're never going to have everybody on side all the time. Never. And one of the folks, some of the folks who listen and watch, and even Batgirl says this to me too sometimes too. She goes, you got to be careful. You got to have one message. You got to have a very firm and strict topic line so people understand what you bring to the table, is what her advice is. And that's great advice. That's wonderful advice. Many people are like, oh, the channel seems to be doing this and doing that. Leadership understands this, right? Leadership is not about playing a character. I don't play a character on YouTube. This is not me dressing up for YouTube, playing a character for YouTube. Leadership is about being your authentic self and saying, hey, you're not going to agree with everything, but I've been put here for a purpose, and I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it the way that I've been sent to do it, and this is the vessel that it was given to you in, and therefore this is the vessel it will be dispensed in. Leadership cannot be afraid of their faces. And there's a scripture that said it, make your face like flint. It means do not be afraid of the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of those supporting you or those not supporting you. This is the greatest fear of the black community, and this is the greatest weapon against you. The weapon against you is that we will find ways to make them not unite. It's what they did with Barack Obama. So in recent history, that's why a lot of you Negroes are running around saying, what did Barack Obama do for the black community? And they've put those words in your mouth, and you have now become echoes of white supremacy and dissimulation, because you received something, you received an iconic demonstration of what black excellence and black ascent to the positions of power can look like, and you wanted to say things like, what did he do for black people? What did he do for black people? And you start to say things, oh, Trump gave money to the black universities. He gave money to this and he gave money to that. That's not what power looks like. That's what pandering looks like. Okay? Giving you fiat currency is not giving you power. It's appeasement. When you understand that there was a man in a position who could push buttons to blow up worlds all over the world, that's power. Barack went and got, what's his name? Osama bin Laden. He went and got people. He had the capacity to do that. He had an army. And so be careful with your dissimulation, with people being able to put things in your mouth and break up your power pieces. You need presidents, you need generals, you need senators, you need diplomats, you need soldiers, okay? You need your intellects, your teachers. You need all those things to be an army. You need builders. Don't allow people to tear down the very beginning building blocks in America, because you have your very elementary building blocks of true community. I don't know if you recognize that. Other communities have outmeasured you in the areas of building nations. You don't have a black nation in America. Don't have it yet. But you have the potential for it. Potential to be one of the strongest black nations in the world, period. Right? Doesn't matter who started it. Doesn't matter who started it. Who started Trinidad and Tobago? Who started Jamaica? Who started Antigua, St. Vincent? Who started those countries? They weren't started by black people, but now they are run by black people. Doesn't matter who started it. That's what you guys got to stop worrying about. Oh, well, this Constitution. Don't worry about that Constitution. Constitution ain't worth nothing. It's just paper. It's dead paper. It's dead paper. That Constitution can be rewritten. It's just paper. What will the economy of blackness look like in 2023? I'm starting off right from the top. Right from the jump. I'm gonna hit you with this. We had our festive time. We finished off the year in the last month of the year. We finished off the year in a movement. Don't fall asleep now. We had Christmas. We had New Year. All right, back to business. What's it look like? NGOs, reparations, that's a piece of it. That's a piece of it. Reparations is definitely a piece of it. Without it, you haven't held your oppressor to bear. My oppression must cost the oppressor something. My oppression must cost the oppressor something. If you oppressed me, then you tell me sorry. That's not enough. It has to cost you something. That's all reparations is. It's taxing you. It's taking back what you do not own, what you did not work for. That's all it is. But that's not. It can't be all. It can't be all. They can print you billions of dollars of money and still leave you in a position where you don't have any power. Still pandering. And they still won't even give you that. That's not it. You need black militias. You need black states that are run solely by black people. Strong states. You're talking about strong reds and strong blues. No. You need strong black. You need states that black people, chief of police, district attorney, governor, every mayor of the capital city. You need places like that. So remember what I'm telling you. This is the beginning. This is lesson number 1. This is Del K. Brereton. This is the real spiel. I'm going to be breaking it down day by day, piece by piece, bit by bit. It's the infrastructure that we require. You can take it or you can leave it, but it's what you need if you want to be a nation. And I'll tell you very clearly, many people are operating in levels where they don't understand nation building. They're not going to listen to this. They're not going to appreciate this. They're not going to want this. That's okay. Many of you are so caught up in religious conversations that you don't realize you're still under siege, you're still in prison. That's okay. It's not your job to release us. It's not your job. You stay by the altar. Some of us get up from the altar with a sword. Some of us stay on our knees and pray. That's okay. You need your prayer warriors. But you also need your warriors who have a sword. You also need your warriors who have a voice, who aren't afraid to get their feet wet, who aren't afraid to be cold, who aren't afraid to be hot. All right? And this is what you understand. That scripture tells us that you have to be hot or cold. Many of you are lukewarm. The lukewarm people, stay warm. Stay inside. Take it easy. No problem. But for those of you who this message hits you hot and hits you cold, let's have that conversation. And last but not least, as I close out this, you need your collaborative. That means everybody who doesn't look like you doesn't mean they're against you. There are many people who believe it's about time black people are allowed to self-actualize. Right? My whole concept is this. It's Blackistan. I'm telling you, it's a succession from the Union. It's allowing black people to control certain states in America and to create their own nation, their own currencies, their own economies, their own Congress, a separate union. You need a separate union. Period. And I'll let you see it for yourself in other ethnicities and other cultures, Argentina and otherwise. The only way for true liberty is to be taken. It must be taken. It cannot be given. It must be taken. You must stand up and say, we don't want this anymore. This is not working for us anymore. We decide to stay here. Any governor, any set of governors can say, I succeed from the union. I'm not interested in the union. I won't support the union. And then you have to have an army to stand behind you. So many of you, you don't have any direction in respect to where something like this would go, but some do. All right. This is The Real Spiel, Part 1. I'll be back.